Bitcoin and still have their Bitcoin. And then you have a lot of casual Bitcoiners that maybe they bought the Bitcoin and deposited in Celsius to get some yield, and now they lost their Bitcoin. And I think that that's tragedy. I mean, it's bad for them, right? It's awful for anyone that had the money stolen from them. And it's not good for Bitcoin because billions and billions of dollars was stolen and / destroyed, right? That I send you $20 billion to buy Bitcoin, you take the Bitcoin, you steal the money, and the Bitcoin doesn't get bought, right? Or I send you $20 billion worth of Bitcoin, and then you loan it out to someone that invested in Terra Luna, and Terra Luna goes to zero, and then the Bitcoin never comes back. You know, and so what happened, they converted the Bitcoin into Terra Luna, or converted the Bitcoin into FTT or the equivalent, and then that went to zero, right? So that kind of makes you mad. Mm-hmm. It's somewhat tragic, it's irritating, tragic. It's not the finest moment for the crypto industry. And you know, you would say you probably shouldn't have trusted any of these people, but there are a lot of decent people that did trust them, right? You've got a lot of crypto influencers, a lot of Bitcoin influencers, and they were sponsored by Blockfolio and FTX and Celsius and some of the other players in the space. If you were sponsored by Voyager or BlockFi or FTX, someone decided to use one of those, then they've suffered. I think the Gemini Earn product, right, where people actually bought Bitcoin through Gemini and then they transfer it to Genesis, and Genesis generates yield by maybe loaning it out to Three Arrows. Three Arrows loses it, and Genesis can't pay you back, and you know that's a low point in the industry, a growing pain. It's a brutally expensive market lesson, but it just reminds you of the corrupting influence of the industry. There are so many people that are counterfeiting money, or they're just stealing the money. And the advantage is to the counterfeiters, right? I think FTX invested $5.6 billion in FTX Ventures. They must have spent another $2 billion in marketing or more in the 2 years. So they poured about $7.5 billion into the economy, and they did it by, in essence, counterfeiting $10 billion or more worth of tokens like FTT and SRM, and they boosted Solana, and they boosted Maps, and then they went and they borrowed real money. They borrowed as much as they could, posting that collateral from counterparties that, they borrowed from BlockFi and borrowed from Voyager, and probably borrowed from Three Arrows, or they borrowed from anybody that would have made a loan to them. And then they borrowed from their own depositors at FTX. And of course, they then raised billions of dollars from outside investors. And they took all that money.
too easy.